Hey everyone, BotChasers.com. Thanks for coming back for another one of our YouTube videos looking at one of the awesome masterpiece figures released by Takara Tomy. Now this version is actually a KO. We're taking a look at Takasa Tony Bluestreak. Now Bluestreak is one of the original Diaclone figures that was not released in the United States but only in Japan originally, and has now been made available in the US as Bluestreak masterpiece figure. So let's look at the figure's packaging here. We've got a nice box here with some matte background and a nice glossy images of Bluestreak in his alt mode as well as his bot mode here. That's on the front. We've also got his insignia here. We've got CP-18B, again letting us know that this is a KO figure. On the bottom we've got all of our usual Japanese text. And on the side, we've got nice artwork here. Actually, it's a nice photograph of Bluestreak. We've got some more nomenclature there. And on the back, we've got Bluestreak with some of the other Autobots here, some of the other Nissan Fairlady Z Autobots, and some different poses here for Bluestreak. So let's get right into the figure here. Here is Masterpiece Bluestreak. Now, I don't have an original G1 toy to show you in comparison, but I do have Silverstreak here. So we'll bring him right in there as far as a size comparison goes. There's Bluestreak with his original G1 figure there. You can see the size difference here. Rotate that around. Just going to tab this back in, that came out. As was known to happen with the G1 figures, those roofs are not too stable there. And there's a back view, and again a side view of Bluestreak and his G1 counterpart Silverstreak here. Let's take a look at him with some of the other masterpiece figures. For example, Wheeljack. There's the two of them. So it's pretty good comparable size and scales nicely with the other masterpiece figures in the line here. Take a look at them from behind. So really nice looking figures in alt mode. And just for comparison too, let's bring in Masterpiece Ironhide. So scaling very well with Ironhide here in alt mode. Really cool figures that have been coming out of the Masterpiece line recently. So great scale here for Bluestreak. Let's look at him up close here. I'll show you some of the things that I did notice. Beautiful blue metallic paint job. I don't know if you can see that shining there. Really nice paint job on here. This really tabs in well for a KO figure. One of the things that I did notice on this, and I'm not sure if this is the same on the official Takara Tomy version, but you see they've got some dimples here where some of the plastic has been, looks like, welded together on his T-tops. So that's kind of a bummer that that came over onto the KO figure, but again, you may not have that on the original, the official figure from Takara Tomy. But really beautiful figure, rolls nicely. All tabs in really nicely, and I'm really impressed with this figure overall. So let's take a look at the transformation here. First thing I'm going to do is open him up, and I'm going to pull out his doors here. Just going to tab those out there, and you can see as I do that, he starts to come apart. He starts to split here at what's going to end up being his hips. On the bottom, you can see those there. So as we start to split them up there, okay, once I've got those doors pulled out, I'm going to start to work on his arms here. And it's a pretty cool homage to the original G1 figure. You can see his arms folded under there. And on the G1 figure, we kind of folded crosswise underneath. And you can see they tab in, each arm tabs into the other one there. And that's similar to what's happening here on the Masterpiece version, but instead they tab in side by side. So I'm just going to pull those out. And we'll rotate those down. The next thing we want to do is bring in these little mirror pieces, and those just tuck right under. So they're on a double hinge. So you just want to make sure you be very careful with these. I want to break the mirror off here. Okay, so you can see we've got them on that double hinge, and we're just going to put them like that for now. But first we want to make sure that our head can get through this hole here. So I'm just going to pop that open there. You can see how that popped. And we're going to get our head. Actually, I can just put my finger down in here and it rotates this head up nicely. So it comes right up into the chest right there. Now I'm going to fold these mirrors in there. You can see how on that double hinge, they just kind of fold in there. And then there's a nice little groove underneath the head that these can sit right in. So you want to make sure you get those right in that groove there. Okay, thanks to the double hinge, it's pretty easy to do that. Okay, great. So now I'm going to rotate the chest. Actually, let's rotate these arms up here. We'll pull them out, rotate the wheel up, pull the arm out, rotate the whole shoulder piece up. That way we can get his chest to come right down beautifully into there. We'll get his arm. You can see he's becoming a robot. There we go. All right, perfect. Now this piece here, which was on the hood, we want to fold that down inside the cowl or inside the greenhouse here. You can also fold these missile launchers up, and we'll show you what those are used for in a little bit. And then we'll just bring his back piece back up. Okay, let's focus on the legs now. Okay, so let's work on his legs here. First thing we're going to do is split them apart. And actually, this is so tight in here, even for a KO. But this, you want to get your fingernail right in here. Start to pull apart his leg like this. Make sure you're very careful here. I'm just going to pull this back so we can start to get his entire leg to come apart. There we go. So you can see how that comes out there. This is one of the more scary parts of the transformation. Make sure to rotate this piece on the inside of his leg out. And you just get your finger in there, start to pull it away. You can see it's starting to come apart. That's pretty tight in there. There we go. Okay, so now we can unfold his leg. You can see it's on that double hinge. Woo, there we go. So you got his leg out there. I'm going to fold this piece, this little window piece, down there. We've got it folded down on this side already. And now we can bring this piece forward right there. Just make sure it's tucked inside there. And I'm going to bring this piece, rotate it back around. And you can see it kind of tabs in there. There's not really a nice secure tab, but you can see that little tongue and groove there. I'm going to do the same with this side. Make sure that this piece is up here. Okay. Fold that up. Rotate this around. And make sure it's nicely in there. We've got his heel. You can just fold that back on this side too. Get your fingernail in there. And something's wrong. We got to rotate his waist. All right, so let's do that. Hip skirt's getting in the way here, so make sure his hip skirts are folded properly. I'm just going to move that backpack again and rotate his waist around. And you can see how his greenhouse here tabs right in. See how I did that? It tabs nicely right in there. And let's get him stood up here. We'll move our camera back a little bit. Let's move it up here. We can get a good view of Bluestreak. All right, there we have it. Beautiful representation of Bluestreak now from the Masterpiece line. So let's take a look at the figure in robot form. He's got a pretty cool head sculpt here. Really nice face and some nice, again, metallic paint brought right over into the face sculpt, which you can see there on his hood and on his face. Really pretty. Also, while I'm looking at it here, he's got these rocket launchers here. These actually fit these accessories that come with him. So what you want to do is just fit these over these rocket launchers here. On here. All right, there you go. So he's got these cool rocket launchers, and they can articulate somewhat. So you can get them pointing up in the air. If you don't want to use these little holsters that they connect onto can be stored in the back of Bluestreak, which is a pretty cool feature. So I'm just going to pull away his backpack here, and you see they fold right down and inside Bluestreak there. So you don't have to use them if you don't want to. Actually, I'm just going to fold it straight down here. There we go. And I'll get this to tab right back in there. So those fold away and stow nicely in his backpack. So as far as articulation goes, he has a nice ball joint here on his head. You can see it left and right, up and down on his head. He's got nice shoulders. He can maneuver his arms pretty high up. Again, his shoulders will fall down if you don't get them properly positioned here. He's got his elbows, actually a double joint here, one on the forearm, one at the elbow, so you can get some good poses there. And on his fingers here, again in true masterpiece fashion, he's got all of his fingers are all one piece. But they do fold up nicely, and they rotate at the wrist. He's got a waist swivel, which is actually part of the transformation. He's got these hip skirts here, which allow him to have some pretty good movement here in his hips. Mine's a little loose, so he's not going to stay doing a side kick or anything like that. And as far as the knees go, it's got a nice articulation there, which is actually part of the transformation too, so you want to watch out that you don't get him in this form. But he does have a nice, pretty good, almost 90-degree movement in his knee there. Again, good, he can do a spread eagle here. And he's got a little bit of ankle tilt. He's got good fore aft on his ankles. But it doesn't have too much ankle tilt. Well, I guess he does. You know, he can get into a pretty good stance there. Makes him look pretty awesome. Right there. Here is Bluestreak's weapon here, which has a nice foldable handle. Folds right up there and actually fits on his roof in alt mode too. But it does have the true to fashion masterpiece style connection here. So let's see how well he holds it. I've had a lot of problems getting these guys to hold their weapons, but see if we can. It's almost a pretty loose tab there. But once we close his fist, he holds it pretty well. Looks pretty awesome. And again, we can rotate these. We can actually rotate his doors up there to give him a cool stance. Let's do a quick comparison to his G1 Silverstreak counterpart. Really nice job by Takara Tomy with this rendition of Bluestreak, or a Diaclone version of Silverstreak. Pretty true to the original G1 toy here. Let's look at him with some other Masterpiece figures too. First off, we'll look at him with Masterpiece Bumblebee. So a lot bigger of a figure, as most of the Masterpieces are compared to B. And let's bring him in with another bigger Masterpiece figure, and this is Masterpiece Sunstorm. So bring him in here for a comparison. Oh, it can't even fit in the camera here. Sunstorm's so big compared to Silver Streak, but we'll try to get the camera back here a little bit to show you that. It's a nice figure lineup here in our Masterpiece series. So if you're interested, this is an awesome figure. Again, this is the KO version of Bluestreak, but you can go for the official version too. KO is not a bad way to go. It's about $30 on eBay right now. Thanks for watching. This has been BotChasers, and come back and subscribe for some more of our Transformers Masterpiece videos.